you will see after me favoritism and things which you will disapprove of. So they submitted, the Sahaba, what do you order us to do under such circumstances? So he sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, discharge your obligations and ask your rights from Allah. This hadith is muttafaqun alayh. It is narrated in both Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. And it's very important because this is the Prophet ﷺ speaking to the companions radiallahu anhum, that they're going to see after him things that they're not going to like. People will be favorited or favored over others, and they will observe things that they disapprove of. What's being spoken about here most likely is that the leadership will fall into the hands of people who will show favoritism to their own people, their own tribe, their own family members. And indeed, the companions survived to see this. After the Khulafa ar-Rashidun, this is exactly what happened. You know, once the dynasties began to take place, what is a dynasty but it's a kingdom? There are monarchies. They are following the progression, leadership transferring from father to son, not to whom is most suited for it. And you will see things which you disapprove of. And indeed, in the very first generation of the companions, radiallahu anhum, they saw leaders that were tyrants, committing sins openly, that were not very good. There was many things to be disapproved of. The slaughtering, the wholesale slaughtering of companions happened in the generation. There are companions that were slaughtered by some of the rulers that came after. Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi. He was the Fir'aun of our ummah, is how he was described. He was the word. I'm sorry. That's Abu Jahl. Al-Hajjaj was described as, if all the nations were to bring forward their own tyrant to compare, Al-Hajjaj would be sufficient for the Ummah of Muhammad. So he's Muslim, but he was a terrible, terrible tyrant. He is responsible for the death of many companions. And what did the Prophet ﷺ say to do in this circumstance? To the companions, he said, discharge your obligations and ask your rights from Allah. So here we are shown how our sabr should manifest in circumstances where we find ourselves not able to A, get our own rights, and B, we have no control over the evils and harms that are happening around us, even from rulers of the Muslims. Let's just put it that way. In this circumstance, where we have no opportunity or options to pursue, the Prophet ﷺ did not say, take an extremist stance and start, blowing up worshippers at a masjid, attack innocent people, commit acts of terror. He said, in this circumstance, be patient. Now, I'm going to qualify this a little bit so we don't misunderstand. In this circumstance, be patient. He did not say that you are a people that would be oppressed and you are being slaughtered and genocided. No, that's what I want to clarify here. He's saying that you will see favoritism and things you will disapprove of. In other words, perhaps open sinning. You might be seeing corruption in leadership. You might be seeing lots of things. But he bounded it. He did not say it's wholesale slaughter. In this circumstance, focus on what you're going to be asked about on the Day of Judgment, which is your obligations. Keep fulfilling your obligations even if you are not yourself having your rights. Fulfill the rights of other people. Keep your obligations towards Allah, towards your family, toward others. And ask your rights from Allah, because you're not going to get it from the people or from the rulers. This applies to many of our circumstances nowadays. Now, in contrast, there are many hadith of the Prophet ﷺ talking about the legitimacy of, for example, fighting oppression, resisting the people that are trying to steal your land. Those are rights that we have. We have the right to fight for them. This hadith seems to be different from the case of someone who is legitimately defending themselves. This is about corruption, it seems like, leadership that is going astray, not ruling in the best fashion, but it didn't fall into these other hadith. And again, with Islam, we never take one hadith in isolation, one ayah of the Quran in isolation. We have to know that. So this is not to say that struggling against oppression is wrong, but this is to say when you are denied rights, when you still focus on your own obligations. Even those who are defending themselves from harm, committing, let's say, legitimate jihad, or doing, fighting against people that are trying to kill them, in this case, you still have to fulfill your obligations. You're not just given this blank check that, oh, I am an oppressed people, so I don't have to do these things. No, you still have to do that as well. So this hadith applies in that case. So it's important that we remember that before we are asked, were you given your rights, we are going to be asked, did we fulfill the rights of others? In fact, it's not up to us to get our rights, although it's legitimate to ask for them and get them, but be more concerned with fulfilling your obligations, especially in the times of difficulty.